Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and I wanted to do this live real quick, and there will be some healing energy coming in very quickly as I'm giving this message. And I wanted to talk about why we need a change in our energetic alignment, what it means to really change in our lives, and how to adapt to the growing environments that we have within creation that are allowing ourselves to really use those intentions to live inside of those manifestations, but also changing our experiences and how we react to circumstances, how we perceive ourselves here and now, but how we allow the inner child in our heart to resound in our heart and use that message of intention of finding out who we really want to be in this moment, and seeing that by changing who we are, changing our experience, changing our emotions, changing our affirmations, changing what we're projecting here and now is allowing us to change the very course and direction of the paradigm of the reality of the space-time continuum of how we're experiencing reality as a whole, but also opening up to deeper states of consciousness and allowing ourselves to develop a new repetition and a new routine by channeling exactly what we want in this existence. So you have to channel exactly what you want, and you can't put your wants and your desires as being different things. You have to see your desires and your purification and your experience as the same concept. It's the same thing, it's just you changing in a new individuation of creation and really connecting to the monad, the I Am Presence, the sisters, brothers, daughters, in different realms, different planes, and different universes, so that you're connecting to the simultaneous presence of alignment. Presenting your alignment is showcasing your alignment, but also demonstrating your alignment and not wavering from your alignment, not forgetting about it, not putting it on a shelf, and not allowing yourself to feel as if there's boundaries or limitations or thresholds that you cannot break through. So every time that we have a breakdown that turns into a breakthrough, it's showing us how much we need to change within our realities. And some of you are adapting so much and having so much change within your lives, within your jobs, within your financial situations, and also within your relationships, not only with yourself, but also with others. And it's showing you that every time that you change in one area in your life, it's going to take you many different places that you least expect. So we have to lose the sense of predicting outcome. We have to lose the sense of controlling outcome. And we have to lose the sense of trying to control or manipulate our reality here and now. And we can't force all of our manifestations and force all the things that we want in our lives. We have to have complete and utter allowance towards the things that we really want and desire and crave. So I was having this message come through really quickly, and it's really just showing us how we can change very rapidly, how we can change exponentially, but also purifying where we're coming from instead of where we're going. And if you understand this one principle of just purifying where you're coming from instead of where you're going, as I'm about to knock over the camera, it's a sense of not taking your life so seriously, not taking yourself so seriously, and it's also knowing that life always works itself out in one way or another. Life always is good when you don't even think that it's good. And life always initiates different states of becoming more awakened and more aligned to what you want to generate within your reality. So channel exactly what you prefer and live by that preference and that expression, because that is giving you the ability to see yourself as an outline, as an energetic outline, but that deep water horizon, that vision that becomes who you are. So you have to give yourself enough ammunition, enough seeking impulse, enough drive and motivation to see that you are generating the experience of the present. So sometimes we can feel like we have to have something to make us happy or a person to make us happy, but our happiness is looking inside of ourselves and seeing God, is seeing reality, is seeing how powerful reality can become and how we can develop our intuition every single day and learn something new every single day. That's what we allow ourselves to do when we're transcending the human conditioning. So as we're transcending the human conditioning, we change the way that we go about life as a whole. We change the way that we meditate. We change the way that we are being negative towards something. So you have to encourage yourself, and you can't lose faith, and you can't give up on God. So it's kind of like when you see the end of yourself, or you see an end of another aspect of yourself, and then you tap into a deeper part of your higher self. But you have to accept the old self in order to embrace the higher self, or the new parallel timelines and experiences. And also, you see that when you change the polarity of positive and negative, of this or that, of connection or reconnection. So you see that every time that you change something about yourself, you are initiating different states of being awake, alive, and aware. So you're being more alive, and you're actually channeling life into existence. And you're making this distinct choice of being a compass of creation, meaning north, east, south, and west. There are many different directions and ways to go about our reality as a whole. So seeing yourself in a much different space of energy and tranquility, connection, vibrancy, and allowing yourself to maintain the sense of wanting more out of transformation, wanting more out of life, wanting to change the visceral perceptions that we have. So we can be a mirror, we can be a reflection, we can be a grounded source of energy, we can become a genuine source of energy, but we have to want it and we have to desire it. And it's the reason why we change so much. It's the reason why we change within our maturity levels, within the way that we generate energy, the way that we move energy, the way that we channel the divinity as is present. And that's why we don't have to know every single thing at this moment in time. We don't have to know every single thing at this moment in time. You will know everything as it's presented to you, and you will follow the breadcrumb trails, and you will find the signs and confirmations and miracles along your path that will present themselves to you as a way of initiation, as a way of connection. So I was getting this message today, and today was really fucking weird, energetically speaking. And that's why people are feeling this way right now, at this moment in time. Why do I need to change? Why is so much change happening? Why are so many things going on simultaneously that I can't seem to pinpoint what is happening? That means that Spirit's always presenting us with representation. It's always presenting us with new catalysts, new lessons, new challenges. But it's not, in a sense, to be mean or cruel or demeaning, but it's actually the exact opposite. They want us to be strong and bold and resilient, and not be weak and not fold at the expense of our own circumstances and experiences and releasing stuck energy. So we see that by changing who we are, changing our reality, changing the landscape of what we're becoming, is trusting our talents and changing times. Because this year is going to be a big year for consciousness. And a lot of people are going to change, and your lives are going to change very rapidly. And sometimes it's going to surprise you, sometimes it might rub you the wrong way, and sometimes it might really make you happy to the point of tears of joy. But change in our life is inevitable. If we don't accept the change, then we will be crushed in a sense. We have to accept change, and we have to accept the adaptation of entering something new and not always replaying the old thought forms or old experiences or traumatic events, because we have to heal in a sense. So healing is transformation and reconnecting and redesigning our life as a creator, as a person that wants more out of its existence and more out of its own connection. Then we choose to change in this moment, because if we don't, then we are staying in a stale energy. So we have to change, and we have to grow, and we have to ignite a flame of passion that will change the direction of where we're going. So sometimes people change, sometimes you lose connection with people, sometimes you lose connections in relationships, and sometimes the money that you weren't making previously, then you have to make even more money. And it's kind of like surrendering to the very fact that if we don't surrender and give in, or give our power to a higher power, and a realignment and a reevaluation of what we want to become. So that wind is fierce. That almost knocked over my camera. So it's kind of like cutting yourself off from the things that feel toxic in your reality. If it feels like it's interfering with your spiritual work, or if it's interfering with the things that you really want to do and accomplish, then that makes you feel like you are trapped in a sense, and nobody wants to feel that way. Nobody wants to feel like they always have to defend themselves or have to present something else or try to administer in a lot of different ways. So you don't have to sacrifice your alignment and appease the illusion's suffering or other people's suffering. So surrender is the key component of really tapping into our inner child, because our inner child really allows us to imbibe the imagination, gives us imagination, gives us that energy of feeling innocent, feeling pure, feeling alive again. But then we have to see that most of the time we're always presented with a toxic femininity or a toxic masculinity. Not the way that they project it in the news. Now, let's not get that misconstrued. But meaning like being over-demanding, being impatient, being someone who is like a narcissist in a sense, or overly sensitive, or like feeling like you always cry at some point. There's a way to control ourselves. There's a way to control how we can become in this moment. So the reason why we need to change is that we change because the energy is taking us to a different direction. And then the timelines shift, and then our energy changes in the way that we're able to manifest and direct everything in our life. So every time that you change more and more and more, as this wind is hitting me, we see that because that we're changing, because we are realizing more about ourselves, because we're trying to discover the self-remembrance within ourselves, right? Is remembering who you are and never forgetting. That's the kicker. Self-remembrance doesn't mean that you remember for a moment and then you forget about the person that you're becoming. You forget about the divinity. But just remember, even if you have to give yourself subtle reminders of like why you need to change, of why you need to redesign your life and find out how to balance your life. Balancing your life is a way of really understanding like what needs to be here and what does not need to be here. What do I need to subtract out of my life and what do I need to implement within my life? How do I need to apply myself? So sometimes it's really understanding, staying true to your prophecy. A lot of you are on this path as prophets, as people that are opening up to their psychic intuition, to their giftings, to their own realities. So sometimes when you are going through something and you don't quite understand what you're going through or how you want to go through this, sometimes just ask Spirit. Ask your higher self, what do you really need from me? What do you want from me? How can you orient me in a way that is going to make me more vibrationally sound? Because some people are like, oh, how do I talk to my guides? I'm like, write a fucking letter to them, you know? Shout at your guides if you need to. Like, talk to your guides as if they were your family. Because they are your family. They're the only ones that really care about you. Because human beings care about you. But at the end of the day, your higher self and God and your guides really care about you and are some of the reason why you're still here. So write a letter to them, know that you can talk to them, and know that some of your loved ones on the other side need to talk to you as well. Meaning that if they can be your guide, they can probably be much better to you now than they were living. And that's another thing that we don't understand as, you know, light workers or psychics or people connecting, is the healing power of really connecting to our guides in times of intuition and times of guidance. But then, at the end of the day, you are becoming the energetic pulse and guide and teacher. So understanding this is that following your own gut, following your gut instincts will help you make decisions, make actions, make choices, help you really be confident in yourself and be obedient to God. So that's the thing, is your gut instincts really help you to be more fierce, fearless, and courageous in how to carry out who you really are. Because you have to have your heart and your mind connected, but if you don't have the gut instincts, then that won't allow you to have a spatial awareness or an instinct, a real crystal clear design of what you want to become in this moment. So it's kind of like making the decision to just fucking change in this moment. Making the decision to open up. Making the decision to just sit down for a moment and meditate, even though you've had the most chaotic day ever, or had the most craziest year of your life, or maybe you were just in an argument with your best friend for no reason, and then suddenly that changes and that kind of subsides. So process, release, and heal from trauma whenever you need to do this. You know, just really feel into the accentuation of your energy. And we're going to do some healing energy to help stimulate your senses and also offer up a lot of our light codes and reconnecting our chakras and using this healing energy as a way of connecting back to one another. So if you guys want to stay tuned, and also around 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing readings, and you can book private sessions as well. So I wanted to take the time out because my phone just wouldn't charge because my charger isn't great. And I just bought a new one and it isn't compatible to my phone. So it's stuff like that in life is just kind of like, just little things that kind of test you. Don't be afraid of the test. Don't be afraid to be challenged. And don't be afraid to not feel like you have to be a perfectionist, because to be perfection, you have to go through the whirlwind, the tornadoes, the tsunamis, the hurricanes of life. You have to. But then as you're going through that, you almost have to feel into the reasons, the existence of bliss, the extension of you becoming God, and seeing that just because there is chaos and illusion and deception and crazy bullshit all around you, that does not mean that you are it. So meaning, if you're going through the midst of the war, does not mean that you should lose the battle. And it should not mean that you are backed in a corner or that you back down from it. But it means that you just are a laser beam of sonic boom energy, and you just push everything out of the way, and you part the sea, and you part everything away from yourself, because you choose to be that light, that guiding light, that love and reality. That is so good. That tastes like Nerds candy, even though it doesn't have any sugar in it. So we're going to do some healing energy, guys. Feel free to stay tuned. I know I'm being goofy on this one, but that's just how it is. That's just how it comes out sometimes. So we're going to do some healing energy, and we're going to target recalibrating all of our chakras and reconnecting to who we really are, and really allowing our higher self to be our assistance and our bandwidth of creation. So the Black Panther energy is coming in very rapidly. Quick release and rejuvenation, and reconnecting all of our chakras, and allowing ourselves to ground Archangels of the Love and Light, who's one to cleanse us of our auric field, tapping into God's first energy and the great I Am, diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth, grounding. Allow yourself to love who you are. Allow yourself to become the inner child within your own creation. And now you can see, by aligning to the light and dark energies, the masculine and the feminine, you are connecting to the twin heart of creation, and you're allowing yourself to become the pyramid of creation, to continue the ongoing progression of who you are. Archangel Gabriel's white diamond dragons are going to help us with purification around our health and wellness and our prosperity. So if you're having trouble with prosperity or your health, or you've been under the weather lately, use this healing as a way of releasing that and allowing ourselves to receive billions of light codes coming in very rapidly. Tapping fully into Christ consciousness. Allowing the vision to become who we are and immersing ourselves into a new paradigm and seeing that by using this application of change, of alignment, of love within ourselves, of being deliberate within our creation, of channeling our auras and channeling our psychic protection as a way of standing in our authority. Allowing the resonance to always guide you in any way that it can. And using this as a subtle reminder to relax. Using this as a subtle reminder of being in your eminence, of being in your peace. Never wavering in your alignment, not presenting boundaries, problems, and limitations, but only the exponential expectancy of becoming infinitesimally aligned. That there is no end to reality, but you live on eternally as an astral projection, as an interdimensional being of love and light, as the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, knowing itself. And yes, we have breakdowns that turn into breakthroughs. And yes, there will be many battles, and yes, there will be many wars. But we allow ourselves to hold steady with our swords and shields, and that we demonstrate and accentuate the light and carry the weight of the future and the sacred flame of creation. Being that sacred flame and choosing to shine the light at the end of the tunnel. Choosing to shine when it doesn't even feel good to do it. Even when it doesn't even feel like you should seek. Or if you feel like it's completely over, but in that moment there is grace for us all. There is the power to know, the power to love, and the power to understand. And we're going to implement the authority and the commandments of Ashgar Command. And we have the Dusty Peak Dragon from Andromeda helping us purify our 12 chakras even more. And the Intergalactic Council is going to give us a light body activation all the way to the feet, to the top of the head, and way above the head to maintain our enlightened awareness. Have a connection to the higher dimensions, and also we're going to have connections to heaven as well. And Jesus is going to help activate all of our psychic abilities and our intuition and our spatial awareness and our deep sense of self-love and self-care. And the Apostle Paul is going to help us with allowance, healing our reactions, healing our circumstances and our experiences, and severing the tie from lower timelines, negative energy, negative perceptions. And lastly, we're going to have Sasquatch step through. And Sasquatch is going to help us tap into being interdimensional, universal love, and becoming a universal receptor. To become the master of illusion, to become the heart of the universe. And to open up here and now, to see you are the destiny that is fulfilled, the prophecy that is prolonged, in your existence being eternal. Allowing yourself in this moment here and now to be the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, Christ consciousness. I am because you are, and you are because I am. Everybody take one last deep breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath, one last deep breath. Exhale. When I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You will know who you are, and you'll become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is God manifested in the human form. And so that was the healing energy for this live. And guys, in 2 hours, or maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes, I'm going to be going live doing readings, healings, activations. I hope to see you guys there. And also, if you guys want to book private sessions with me, I do have a private session special. It's going to be 1 hour for $90, $150 for an hour and 30 minutes, and 2 hours for $200. So if that changes anytime, I'll let you guys know. But this is White Wolf, this is spirituality channel, meditation channel, and we do a lot of different meditations and healings. And also on YouTube, White Wolf the Oracle, you can find out this content too and other videos that you maybe missed out on. And also, just at the end of the day, the reason why we change is that we accept the change that is presented to us, and we allow ourselves to be present with that and purify where we're coming from instead of where we're going, so that we can have allowance within our space, so that we can love deeper within ourselves, so that we have a greater consistency and repetition of how we're changing the paradigm and the reality and the feelings themselves, so that we can be a genuine source of energy, to be an astral projection of what we want to become in this moment. Be the author of your story. Be the person that wants to stand up among the rest and shine brightly when it's very hard to do, and do the most aligned thing when it's time to do it. So, thank you guys so much. This is White Wolf. It's always a pleasure and an honor to connect with you guys, and I hope to see you guys in a couple hours. So, thank you, God bless, namaste.